Am I the a-hole for taking back the beer I bought for a party from which I was uninvited? Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell button to never miss any of our future videos. This happened just a few hours ago. I am a 19-year-old man and the people calling me an a-hole are 18-year-old men and women. On Thursday, a person I had a major crush on in high school, but who rejected me, messaged me out of the blue. She had never contacted me without my contacting her first, and at one point I realized she had me blocked on social media, and so I found it odd that she was suddenly being friendly. After sending a couple of greetings and questions about how I've been, she said that she was going to have some people over and wanted to know if I would get the beer. The drinking age where we are is 19, and she and the people who were going to chill were all 18. The liquor stores in my area all card. I thought it was silly that my being a month older meant I could buy liquor and they couldn't, and so I said I would love to go. She said thanks, I'll pick you up at 7 o'clock rolled around, and she texted me to say she was in front of my house. I went out dressed and ready to chill with some people, and she drove me to the liquor store. When we got there, I asked what beer she wanted me to get, and she told me to get Budweiser. I hid my disappointment as well as I could, but it was her party so I went in and bought 2 cases of 24. I got back in the car and said let's party, and she was eerily quiet. I noticed that she wasn't driving towards her neighborhood, but rather back towards mine. I thought she had moved or something, but didn't want to press the issue. When she turned down my street I finally figured it out. She was being purposefully vague about the invitation because she wanted me to get the beer, but she wanted a way out when she told me I wasn't actually invited in the first place. She stopped in front of my house, leaned over, kissed me on the cheek, and said thanks in her best voice. I deadpanned her and asked when she was going to tell me I wasn't invited. She feigned surprise and said that she never intended to invite me in the first place. I sat in silence for a long awkward minute, picked up the beer, and walked towards my front door. She got out of her car and frantically tried to re-invite me to the party, but I told her that what she did was the most humiliating thing that ever happened to me. I opened my front door, slammed it a bit too hard, and came back to my room. Now I'm sitting here drinking absolutely unpalatable piss water, and I have text messages from all of her friends and her asking me why I'm being such a D. I don't think I'm the a-hole for reacting the way I did, but if you haven't figured it out I'm not amazing socially so I'm not sure. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. Blatantly. How did she expect this to go? You'd happily go buy her beer, then take it to the party, then leave, without partying or drinking your beer? They have to all be a bit cracked in the head if they believe that was ever going to work. I'd take a Snapchat of me pouring that down a toilet before I ever gave it to them. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I hope you can move past what a nasty piece of work this girl, not woman, is. I'd take a Snapchat of me pouring that down a toilet before I ever gave it to them. That's an awesome idea. I was planning to just throw them in my fridge and tell my stepdad to go nuts because he'll drink anything. No, he's not an alcoholic, but down the toilet would work well too. Not the a-hole. I would have loved to see her face when you took the beer with you. Good for you. That pissed off face after doing something wrong to someone is so good to see. I originally commented asking for more information but decided it really didn't matter. Not the a-hole. To be completely honest, it kinda sounds like you weren't actually invited. She just asked if you would get her beer for the night. That being said, it's definitely an a-hole move for her to reach out to you after a long period of time, seemingly out of the blue, just to ask you to break the law for her and to not even invite you to the party after. From my understanding, you bought the beer with your own money, so you're absolutely not in the wrong for taking it with you once you realized you weren't being invited to the party. You didn't yell at her, call her names or do anything rude, just took your beer and left. I actually don't think you could have handled this better than you did. If there was a stronger judgment than not the a-hole, I'd give it to you. My thoughts too. I got the impression she was just asking him to get the beer. That's it. She's still the a-hole for everything else. Not the a-hole. And then she has the audacity to call you the D. I bet she lied to the party and didn't tell them the actual story. I find it so hard to believe an entire party would all be this shitty. I mean, the kind of kids who are having a party at this time in the pandemic. If they don't get their booze, I can imagine them being incredibly shitty. For your information, if you have a decent skillet, you can cook some bratwurst in those beers, cook down the remaining liquid into a syrup, and add it to some mustard for a really tasty meal. The best possible fate for those beers. WTF, this can't be real. I hope it's not real. I'm really sorry if it's real. Not the a-hole, and high five to you for taking the beer. Sorry it's Budweiser though. Maybe try to return the unopened case. Teens are D's. D's are D's. Age has nothing to do with it. Not the a-hole, and this is actually a victory story. She should be ashamed. Call up some friends and play a drinking game. Maybe call it a Mexi beach party and throw together tacos and make some chiladas with that beer so it's more palatable. Or any other beer cocktail. Shandies all the way. All it takes is some Sprite thrown in. Not the a-hole. Good for you for standing up for yourself. Enjoy the buds with some actual friends and never speak to this awful girl again. Agreed. OP, please block her from your social media so she can't contact you again.